Okay, so we've getting this one down and in. So we've put in this back bar. Just remember, you want one going down to the bottom and one at the top. They sort of laminate like this in there. To be honest, it's gone in and I don't want to risk taking it back out. It's in there, it clicked, it's gone in. It's nice and solid. So what we've got now, this is the bar of this. So this is just going to slot in the top. And again, making sure it does go down flush, so that's right the way in. One thing we didn't do was actually hook up this little guy up here at the back. This is the one for the door, so all you do is slide this off, pop it in and then slide it down. Again, just making sure you've got the gap, which is just under here, which will give you your little area to get that through. Then you've got your box. So, right, okay, so you probably saw all of that light up. That is for, if we can let this to go, this is for our engine section here at the back. It's not shown very well, to be honest, there on the light, but you can see it from the top there. And then also, if we flick on the other one, I can't remember which the other one is even. I think it's this one. Is it that one? Nope. Okay, let's try that one. Because one, there we go. So we've got the lights on at the back, and then over here you can see we've got the lights down for the bottom, and then also over here you can probably see that's where that light comes in. But obviously these are the ones for the wheels, okay, for the actual wheels, gear pads, whatever you want to call them, down in there. And we've got the one up here. The last one, to be honest, is just for the cockpit one, which we've done just down in here. And again, we've painted down in here. We've got Chewie done and Han down in there. And then if we just sit that in, and then remembering how all of these wire up and go. Okay, I think it is this one. And then one of these. I don't remember which one it is. You check the wiring diagram a second. Okay, long harness goes to the front. So down in there, how well you can actually see that, if I take off the canopy, you can probably see at the rear, we've got the lights in the back. And as I said before, it doesn't really illuminate too much down in there, but that's the lights down in the rear. If I turn them on and off, you can probably see them coming on like that. Okay, so that's in there. You can see those a little bit better when you're a bit closer. So for the moment, we're not hooking up this front one, we're keeping it all separate. Okay, so we can just pop this on the front here. Okay, and move him just out of the way. We've got the rest of these, so then what will happen is, with a little bit of a thing, this battery pack will then live underneath here in this little section down the back, tucked out of the way. You have a lift up lid then to be able to turn things on and off once it's all in. All right, so that's all those on. Let's just turn all that lot off. There we go, just like that. So that's actually that section done now, and actually completes the major work down here on the bottom section. So what we do now is literally we're going to be working on the top part. So what we can do, move this out of the way, clear some space, have a bit of a tidy up, and we'll start on the top. Okay, so with the bottom half done, we can now turn our attention onto the top half. And as you can see, just down in here, we've got the various parts for it. So we'll start up here, which is this one just down in here. So what we got is S119. Okay, this nice big bit here. We've got some of the parts all cut out already. So we'll just start poking these in. So we got S236. That is going to go just down there like that. Okay, then we got this little tiny guy just here. Okay, so this here is S238. And when we say tiny, it is that. Now it is directional as well. You can probably see there's a little semicircle in here, so it only goes the one way. Okay, fitting it in. It's going to be something else. Okay, so that's that little guy just in there like that. All right, so we got that in. Then we can come along here. Okay, we've got S237. Okay, and that one's going to fit in here. Now we have a confession. You might remember we lost a small part in the keyboard. That goes in this tiny little hole down in here, which is S239, and it looks like a little bit of a cog. I don't think we're going to see it particularly much in here, but if you did, you could pop it down in there. All right, so this little guy over here is S234, and that's just going to fit in the side, which looks like a bit of a radiator. Okay, we get it to sit in squarely. There we go. So that's just going to push right down in there like that. Okay, then last up we've got S235, sorry, 34 that one, 35 is going to go just on the end in here. Okay, so that again, it's going to push in so it's flush on the side. And there we go, that's those parts in there. So that's both of those done like that. And you've got a little check thing on this side so you can see where all the parts go just like that. All right, moving over to this one. So this is S16. We've got this part here, flipping it over on the back side. We've got this long one here, which is S113. And that looks like it's going to come out of the bottom. Okay, so the little slot at the top, that's going to be the top one. That slot just there is going to go down in here. So it pokes back through the hole. Okay, and then just pushes in flush, so this then comes down the back here just like that. Okay, no problem with that at all. Flipping it over onto the other side, then we've got these parts here, S114. Okay, it's all keyed and everything, it literally only goes the one way, so that is just going to fit down in here. Then we've got these two, which are basically mirrors of them, L215 and L115. Okay, so that's going to be quite straightforward, of these just popping in just down like that. So I'm just going to use a pair of scissors just to make sure their feet are in properly. One side and one going in on the other. Making sure it's in and firmly pressed in. Not that I think they're going to fall out, but again, if you wanted to, you could glue those in like that. Okay, and then we've got this little guy down here, looks like a little turbo, to be honest, and that's going to go on this keyed edge just down in here, and this is part S117. So that goes on the front section, literally just like that. Okay, so that completes that area all down in there, as we have it down. Okay, then we're moving our way across here. We've got this little guy here, it's S116, again, it's got toothed, so it can only go the one way. And then that part's just going to fit straight on the side on that side. And then we've got this part here, which is W, which we've got to remember which one it is, which is this little guy here. And again, he's got a little tooth to it. And that's going to fit just down in there. And again, it only goes the one way. Okay. That pushes in there literally just like that. Okay, so that's those ones in there. So that completes that section just down in there. And then moving a little bit further on, we do this one here, S118, which is this little guy here. And again, he's got a little tooth on it and he's keyed, so it only will go in the one way. So that's going to fit just up here at the top. Okay, so that's that bit in just at the top there. Then we got the long bar just down the side here, and that's all keyed again. It's going to go in the slot at the top there. And then we got a little gap at the bottom, making sure that's pushed in flush at the top, and you got nothing at the bottom, and that completes that part literally like that. So that's that one just down in here. Okay, then we can actually take the fuselage section, or top of the fuselage as we can see it here. We'll flip it over, rotate it around the same way. Okay, so we've got this little part here, which is one of these ones. All right, so this here is S19, and that's going to fit literally just in at the top here. Okay, so that's just going to pop in, and it's going to push in, and it's going to go right on there like that. Okay, then we've just got all of these. So we've got the round one just down in here, which we assume is going to be for the actual radome. Okay, again, only goes in one way purely because of the hole sizes, but do make sure it is pushed in flush, so it's flush up on the side here right the way round. All right, because that is obviously the radar in there. And then we got these two, so we got the one. Okay, this is going to be this one down in here, and again it should only go one way because of the hole layouts in these. Okay, so that's going to be like push fit. Make sure it gets a bit of a click, because obviously it's got to be flush in here and with the edges and everywhere right the way around it. Okay, so that's that one in, and then we got this one over here, which is going to go in here. And again, if you wanted to, you could detail and hand paint all of these separately. Okay, and then once they're off, that has given us this area down in here, as we can see. It's given us this area in here, and that one there. Okay, so it's starting to put those detailed areas right the way in. But again, if you wanted to, you could quite easily now paint those by hand, put them in, mask them, and unmask them afterwards. To be honest with you, I'm doing this pretty much as the real thing would have been done as a whole, and then lots of washes, hand painting and detailing it afterwards as we make our way through. Right, so that's those bits on with the next bits. Okay, so just moving along then. So what we've got down in here is this one. So we got this little guy here, which is number S220, which is the big one, and we got some hosing. So hosing's very straightforward. Okay, it's always easier to just pop the blade one in first. Okay, so a little bit of a squeeze, and then this little guy just pops it in there. And again, sometimes it might be just worth popping in with a little bit of glue. Sometimes they hold, and that one is now. I didn't think it was going to be. Okay, and then we got this one over on this side. Okay, again, put the blade one in, and then hold and hold. Alright, so that's the hosing done on the top there. Again, I think it'd be quite easier to pick these out by hands afterwards than worrying about doing it all up front now. Okay, so with those two in like that, we can pop him off to one side. Okay, so over on here, flipping this guy over, we've got a couple of parts to go on. So we've got this one down in here, which is S228. Okay, and again, they're all somewhat keyed of how they're going to go. So this is this little guy just down in here. All right, so that one's just going to fit down in here. And then we've got a couple more over on this side. So we've got this one here, which is S231. And actually that is the two-hold one just here. Okay, so that's that one just down in there like that. Okay, that comes across, and then we've got this one here, and again, it's just going to go right in here. And this is your S18. Okay, a little bit of a clip, so that just puts those two in literally just like that. And then what we can do, we can just come along with this one, pop this one in, and again, it's all keyed and done, so it can only go in one way. And then it will finish off our section here. Just mindful how this all pops in, because we want it all to be lining up and pushing in nicely. And again, making sure it's all square and firm, and that is this area in at the top up here, looking very much the part, just like that. Okay, so we got these couple of ones just down in here, and this is for this one over here. So it's U28. We've got U12, okay, so that's literally just going to fit on the edge bit, just like that. Okay, and then the last bit just coming in on here. And then again, just pushing in from the side, like that, and then a bit of a nudge. And that completes those details just down in there. These little ones I've just broken, I think, doing something. We'll just check that in a moment to see where those have come from. I've just hooked them off the wrong ones. Nope, seem to be all okay in there. Yeah, there we have. We just snapped that one just off there. We'll fix that in a moment as we were pushing that in and just making sure they're all in there. Again, might be worth popping them in with a little bit of glue. Okay, so this section over in here, again, you've got a couple of holes, and then it's just going to pop in. And again, you've got a key, so it can actually only go in one way, which is very nice. Okay, so there's your radar mount. Again, nice little click and a pop. Seals that into position, no problem at all, just down in there like that. Okay, so with that one in, we've got this last little part here, which is this one, which is H. Okay, which is H2, and it looks like it's no more than a little tiny piece that's just going to fit in the edge just up on here. Okay, it's adding all that three-dimensional detail, so that's the top parts all coming together just like that. Okay, then we're moving down the bottom section just down in here, so we've got G1, and then flipping it over we've got the plate, so that is just going to fit in just like so. And like we did the top side, we assume this is just going to be a rinse and repeat really on that one. I don't know which way, it might be easy to put the sides on first, as we found last time. So again, these are keyed, they literally will only go on one way, so we're just making sure that looks all good. Okay, so that's that first one on and in, Second one. Okay, that was on and in, and then we've got the front part around the right weight. And again, a bit of a nudge, a bit of a squeeze. Again, you might want to pop a little bit of glue in there, but actually I don't think that's too bad. And there's that section in there, literally just like that. Okay, so from that point of view, we can just flip over here. We've got a couple more little details just to go on. Okay, so with these, we've just got J15. So that's just going to push right down on the front, a couple of blades each side. There is a little tab on that one just to nip off as well, okay? So that one's down on there. Then we've got, what have we got down in here? This is this one here, which is J14. And again, that's just going to come over on this side. So again, very little small parts, but you know, okay. So then we've got this little guy here, which is this one here, I do believe. Making sure it is right. So again, they are keyed, which is very, very helpful. Okay, so this is H5. Okay, so again, Bandai really looking after you and helping you every step of the way with these builds, because you could get them slightly around the wrong way, but it's not. So that's those on there. And don't forget, you've got a little check sheet up here. Any point in time, have a look just to make sure you've got them laid out and correct in all of those. All right. So down in here, we've got, just making sure we're all in the right place. So it's this one first. This is 14. So this is this little plate here. So this is H14. And that's just going to go on and push in to this one. Okay, then we've got this little tiny chap H6 is just going to fit on the top. Again, just making sure they all go in and fit in. Okay, really nice indeed. Then we've got this one over here, which is H1. And again, it's a keyed slot, so that's quite nice, makes it very straightforward. Okay, so that's that one in there just like that. So again, that completes that section on there like that. So we've got H15, which is the other side of it, just going to go on. Again, nice little push down. Make sure that all is up and is in. Okay, so that's with those ones on there, literally just like that. And then last up, just down in the front here, we've got, and again, it's angled, so it can only go in one way round, and you know you've got the right part as well, which is H7, which is going to fit just down here, up the front, which completes that section on there. Okay, really very, very nicely done indeed. Okay, so then we can actually take our front area just like this, and then this little part hopefully will fit in here. Might be worth just trying to pop this down, so we're just making sure we've got it lined out. You have got little keys, if you look, so slots and slots just to help you, but remember, if it's not going for whatever reason, don't over force it, because what you don't want to do is end up cracking a piece or anything else. All right, so you want it to be in here firm, but we don't want to wreck anything in the process, but just making sure it's all in there, it's all in there tight, and it is all good to go. All right, so that's that top section in there, literally like that. At the same time now, for the first time, we can come along with this area. So the cable wants to come forward and is going to go underneath. Okay, so it's going to go underneath this area like this, and then again, this can all sit on the top. Just make sure that cable is free and you're all happy. And again, there's no glue involved, so it's pretty risk-free. We can pop the top part on there, literally just like that as well. And as you can see how nice that is without any mass gaps or seams or anything down in there, because it's slightly recessed like we said before, and that is all in there literally just like that. Okay, so with that section on, what we can actually do, come along with our bottom section, okay, and we can actually think about wiring this all up. So I'm just looking at the wiring diagrams to all of this. Now we've already got our wires set in here, but it would have you take all the wires out, then pop this in. But I'm actually hoping and thinking that the wiring should be absolutely fine just to come through and be out. But again, what we want to make sure is that you don't get any of these sections pinching wires in this. Okay, so that's why they are this way round and all the rest of it, I do believe, just to make sure you don't end up cutting wires or anything like that. So what I'm going to do is we're going to pop this one up through here. Okay, we're going to pop all of this up through here, I do believe, and then very, very carefully we will just seat this on, just to make sure we're not cutting any cables or anything as we make our way through. Okay, so have a look inside, make sure your cables are all flush and free. And again, that's exactly what we're talking about, because what's happened is that this cable here was right on here, and you run the risk of actually cutting straight through. So just be mindful of all of these when you're bringing the halves all in together. Okay, so again, I can understand the thought process into all of these. Okay, so again, that cable's not exactly, I'm not happy of how this cable wants to work with all the others. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop him up here for a moment, keep him somewhat tight so he's out of the way, because for some reason it's really wanting to fit down on that. Okay, so that one's free, that one's free. So we're looking in there, we seem to be all clear, we know we're not pinching cables or anything, so actually what we can start to do is just to nudge this together. So if anyone's ever done this, you'll know it's all a little bit hold your breath moment. Okay, so I'm just double checking cables and making sure we're not in anywhere, we're not fouling anything. That one over there doesn't seem to want to go. There we go. And then all of a sudden, like magic, we have one very nice looking Millennium Falcon. And again, Bandai plastic is just on another level where literally a couple of squeezes and it just holds itself together. How does it do that? I have no idea. It is literally that good. So there we go. That has our classic Falcon shape. Okay, I'm actually chuffed as a nut with that. That's worked really, really well. So there we go. For the first time, we have a Falcon shape and things like that. So what we're going to do, what we'll do in a moment is just plumb in the wiring, make sure the cables are all good and everything still works, everything else like that. If we're happy with like that, we push on with this back section. Okay, so we've moved on a little bit. So we've got these plates just been put on the outside. So we've got these ones down in here and on here and in here and in here. So those are on there, taking care of those. They'll come up in a moment, just pointing them out now. So over on here, we can see, make sure we have got the right order. These are these plates we were talking about just going on. Those are those ones just there, okay? So over on here, we've got the gangway. So it's pretty straightforward. It's just two halves going together, literally like that. Bit of a squeeze, okay? And again, you could paint this up separately, all your bits and pieces just inside as always. So you get two. You've got open and closed. So this one just down in here, sorry, they've got two parts down in here. I've already popped this one together. So you've got the top and the bottom parts, which is P8 and P2, just down in here like that. And then literally they're just going to fit onto the end, and a bit of a squeeze from the inside. Okay. Okay, that's the gangway for being open. We've also got one being closed. So if you wanted to over here, if you're doing it in flight, and that's the nice thing with this kit as well, we can do it both. Okay, we can just come along with this, pop this in here, and that's the door closed. Okay, so if you're thinking about, right, okay, well, we just have it in closed, or you've then got the option to come along here, and because we've got that light system and everything else, that fits in there if you want the actual ramp down, which is, again, nice options that we can switch seamlessly between the two at any point. Same with the gear up or down. So for me, I'm probably going to have this more in flight than actually going to do it gear down, but at some points we will flick the lights on and all the rest of it and just have it gear down, because it does come with a nice display stand. So that's basically both your options for that one. And that's really what it's talking about just over here. So you've got it down there all closed up. That's the other ones on the other side, which we've put on. Then we've got these two, which is Q7 and Q8. Alright, so that's going to come over here. So first of all, we've got Q7. And again, you've got the little feet, so it can only denote it going one way. So that is just going to push in just like that. Alright. And to be honest, that looks very similar. I don't know. I have to have a look at my little list of actually the top of a Corsair. Anyway, we've also got this one down in here, which is just going to go on here. I'm just making sure it is the right way round, which it looks like it does. Just go this way, just checking with the bit going off. There it is, just in there. So that's 7. So basically you've got 8 and 7 just down in there like that. Okay, so that completes that bit of the build just there. And then obviously those ones going on there, N2 and N4 for the sides of them, so forth and so on. So down in here we've got the gunner stations. Okay, pretty straightforward for this one. So we've got a seat. We've then got a control, and again, if you wanted to, you could really go to town. The trouble that you've got with this one is that, to be honest with you, you're not going to see much of it whatsoever. So this one here, as you can probably see, you've got the stick down in there. This comes in here, and then the yoke pushes onto, and then comes through on that back section down in there, literally like that. And then that pushes in flush onto that one, and then over on the other side we've got it basically going together. So this little guy is just going to come on. It is facing downwards, so check on which side is it? Yes, no, it is that side. Okay, so that goes in. So you've got the little docking area climbing in and around, or the seat will actually turn around, and then the two halves of it going together. Okay, again, thing is with this, there's not a lot to see or anything going on down in here. If you wanted to, you could detail and paint all of this up, but the reality is it is dark anyway. All right, so that's one on there. Again, choice is time. So this one here, we've actually got the open one, but if you wanted to, we've got the glass one down here as well, depending on which version you want. I'm obviously going to go a little bit true to form with the originals, so we are going to have the closed ones in here like this. And let's make sure we got it the right way around. So the bit with the slots, I'm assuming they are keyed and flushed, which looks like they are. Okay, so that's with these. They're only going to go one way, so it must be that way. That fits over and in just like that. Okay, so I might pop back actually and do a little bit of dry brushing, a little bit of work on there. The main thing is got small little gaps, you know, around in there. I don't think we're going to see any trouble with light and stuff like that. Then we got the base plate, which is X18, and that's pretty straightforward on this one. So that is going to fit in just like that. Okay, and that's your weapons or the gunner station down in there as well, literally just like that. So that's pretty straightforward. Then we can move on to the gun system itself. So obviously we've got the holder. This is W23, so straightforward with that one. We've removed these outer lugs, as it mentions, just over here. Then we've got both of these sections on this one, so that's just going to be a case of these two are going to be going together with this one. Okay, so we're just going to be going that way round. Okay, and we're just making sure we are all in with those, so it's probably going to be, I know which way would be easier to do it, on the outside to push that one in, and the outside to push that one in. Okay, so that's both of those on there like that. Okay, I'm just making sure we're happy how all that's going to stand, so that is on there. Then we've got the guns themselves, which is just going to be a push fit together. Now, because of the scale, it's not, but they are slightly hollowed out. You might want to hollow those a little bit more. Okay, so there's that one. And then we've got the rear part coming up here, so this is all going to clamp all of this together. And I assume they are somewhat, I don't know, actually I don't think there is a particular up and down or a right way round with these. So that's those two halves together, and then perhaps it does have an up and down. Just checking in here, and they do have an up and down. It's keyed, only actually goes one way. Again, very clever how they do these with one-way systems. Okay, so with that one in there, and then this is going to come in here, and it pushes into the middle. So that explains whilst there's a gap in between. Okay, then we can lower this down. Okay, so that's just in there like that. Then we've got the rear part, which is obviously got the screen and the various areas on that one. So again, we're just making sure we put it all the right way. I think that's pretty much how it should be, or is it? Okay, so it sort of goes in upside down perhaps, because that looks just like a HUD or a screen of an aircraft. So you've got this top part in there, and then lastly we've got this one with a little triangle directional facing forward. Okay, so that is our gun done like that. So you have your screen and all the parts around to it, literally just like that. Okay, so with that done, then we can come up with this. Okay, and then this little guy, one would assume it's, how are they doing it? Just sort of like this, so it's going to lay, just going to cross like this. Don't know if it has a up and down. Doesn't look like it does, so yes it does. This little tab at the top here, this little foot, does point to the top. Okay, so that is on there literally like that, and then this guy is going to come in and sandwich this all in. So basically what you got down here is X29, and when that pushes in, we assume it's going to hold that all in there, and then it can fit in the firing position or in the stow position or anything in between, literally just like that. Okay, so there we go, that's the actual gunner section on there, literally just like that. Then we can take our ship, it comes along, and then this little guy can only go one way. This is the underside section, and it's just going to sit in and then fits down there, so it's like that. Okay, or in the sort of stowed location, just like that. So again, very, very nice indeed. Okay, a couple of last little bits to go on here. So we've got L1 and L2 16, which are very, very small little parts. These ones just down in here. Okay, and they're going to go literally, without losing them, just down in here. Now the thing is, when we put this guy in, it might be a little bit difficult to get this out now. So I'm just wondering if I can physically get hold of this to get this out, or if we've just made a little bit of a rod for our back here and not going to be able to get in here to get it out. No, I don't think we're going to be able to get that out again, but hopefully with a pair of tweezers we can just pop these in. Which do go. Nudge. Back over. Oh, just down in there, there's one. And there's two. Just make sure they're pressed in firmly, which they are. We'll pop the gun down. I don't know if this will rotate. No, it's not going to fully rotate. But there we go. So that one is in there now, literally just like that. So it's really, really starting to come together. So there we go, that completes another section right the way through on this one. Next thing we're going to be doing is just some work underneath. We've got some more piping work all to go into the underside of this one, various little bits put on. So what I'll do, I'll spend a little bit of time cutting these all out, cleaning them all out, getting all these little parts ready, and we can have a giant run through together, putting all of these in, and then we've got some more heavier bits going down the back end as we make our way through the build.